Hello, everyone. Welcome to the We Binged It podcast. My name is MJ.
And my name is PK.
Welcome to the podcast where we talk about all the TV shows and movies and everything in between that we binged this week. Today is an exclusive episode, basically the after show review recap of Love is Blind season 5. Before we get into the reunion that dropped this evening, we are going to first talk about the season finale. So before we get into that, um, should we talk about how we're doing this week, or should we just go into the Love Is Blind? Okay, so before we get into it, like always, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, that like button. If you are loving what you are hearing, seeing with your growls, if you've been watching us for quite some time, just hit that subscribe button, girl. We're trying to grow. Now, so the season finale dropped on Friday, and it was two couples. It was between Stacy and Izzy, and then we have Milton and Lydia. Now, let's start with Milton and Lydia before we get into Stacy and Izzy. Now, for me, it does look like I was actually quite surprised with what happened with Lydia and Milton because I didn't think that they would actually get married, but apparently they did. And we're seeing how they are now in the reunion, but they both said yes, but I honestly thought one of them would say no. How about you, PK?
Yeah, me too. I thought Milton would say no, honestly. I knew that Lydia was going to say yes, but I honestly thought Milton would be like no because after all that drama that he was involved in with Uche, I don't think he's like a drama kind of person, but I think he handled it so well that like it shows that he is so much more mature and that age doesn't really matter. So I feel like that's what they have like a really good strong foundation for their relationship, even though their age is so different. Like he's like so much more younger than her and she's so much older, but I feel like they have a really good balance between each other. Like he's a calm, cool, collected one, where she can be like a little bit loud, passionate. So I think they have like a super good balance that I'm seeing, like especially at the reunion when they're talking. So I don't know. I think it worked out at the end.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting for me. I think that Milton is wise beyond his years. I think how he handled the whole confrontation between him, Uche, and Lydia was quite incredible. And I think we don't see a lot of 24-year-olds who would have handled that in the same way that he did. And Uche came up with him and said to him, hey, you know what? I have, issues with your fiance. Like, this is what she did to me. Here are the text messages. And Milton's like, we're all different planes. You're an X, I'm an Y and a Z. And basically was trying to say my connection with Lydia, whatever you're gonna say, my connection with Lydia surpasses any beef, surpasses anything you may have um with her because it's so strong, it's so foundational. Basically saying he found her person. So it's such an interesting thing to see. And I love that Milton did, defend his relationship to Uche. And you can tell that to Uche that wasn't the response that Uche kind of expected. Like Uche expected to receive a different type of response. And his face definitely did see it, show
Yeah.
it. So we were like, I'm watching that and I'm like, damn, Milton, like that's what I'm talking about. Like he grow up real quick. He's like, okay, girl. Like he's like, boy, this is my relation. This is my man. This is my woman. You can't do
Yeah.
this. Nothing you can say. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, oh my
Yeah.
god, that's like so. It's so amazing. But I do agree that Lydia is a type of person, a type of girl, like she loves love, but you can tell they're both very smart people. So I think they have a lot of compatibility. Like there's a lot of things they have in common in terms of their educational backgrounds, and they're both from marginalized communities. And I think they have a lot of commonalities. I didn't think that it would have chemistry. That was my thing. They maybe compatibility, but not chemistry. But it looks like they do, and it looks like they kind of fill each other up in certain ways. And I think it's because they both match each other's personality. Like Lydia is very playful, childlike, and Milton is 24. Like he loves that playfulness out of Lydia. So they kind of match in that way. And it's really incredible to see that even a year later it's still there. So that's the one thing that kind of just still like I'm still shocked by that they're still together, and I'm shocked that
Yeah.
it worked out so well. Like she went, okay, we'll talk about that in the reunion, but yeah. Any thoughts about the marriage last episode between Milton and Lydia?
No, I think like Milton was like so funny where he's like, "Should I button this up?" like to the to the guy. So I knew like he felt like super nervous about it, but I think they both did make the right decision for them at the end. I do see that it is genuine their
Yeah.
connection, and well, we're going to talk about the reunion, but it's going to be, I feel like they just keep building and building and they make it even more stronger and stronger. So it's surprising because you don't really expect that, but it happens. So it's like, it's such a good like surprise at the end.
It's such a good surprise, and I'm really happy for them. At the end of the day, I'm really am happy for them. So that's really great. I guess we can move on to Stacy and Izzy.
Yeah.
Oof, oof. It
Oh
was
my
too
god.
okay. Stacy and Izzy, on their wedding day, season finale. Stacy went to the altar. Izzy went to the altar. Stacy said, "I still love you, but it's a no." Izzy said yes. Izzy remained at the altar. Stacy walked away from the altar. Izzy then went to his corner to go and cry. But after he said yes, he kissed her, which is actually um so let me stop there before I continue. Like, what are your thoughts so far at this moment in time, PK?
Honestly, like leading up to the moment, you knew that Izzy was going to say yes. There
Yes.
was like no suspense. But you didn't know what Stacy's response is going to be like because she was saying like good things and then she was saying like red flags about the debt and stuff. And then her mom was like, "Oh, don't ignore the red flags. Like that's important to
Okay,
know and stuff like that."
let's stop there. Let's talk about
Yeah.
this, PK. If you found the man of your dreams
Hmm.
and he has a bad credit score and debt that has debt, and some people, more people than not, actually do have bad credit scores. Are you
Hmm.
gonna stop dating the guy, or think that you didn't? Do you think that's a red flag, PK?
Like I wouldn't consider it as big of a red flag. Of course, it's a problem, but like if you built that connection, it wouldn't be a problem. You clearly haven't built that like foundational strong connection where things like outside factors it wouldn't affect it, but it does because it's not strong enough. Like it can crumble. Like the foundation is not there in their relationship, clearly.
And that is, see, this is what I truly do not understand. That if you love somebody, no matter, like you said, these outside factors would be like would mean nothing to you.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't see having debt like as difficult it is for you and I to find men in this world. For me to say no to a guy because he has debt is the weirdest freaking thing I feel like a woman, unless you're like, unless like you have like you're committing fraud or something, or like you have like $3 million,
Yeah.
like something crazy.
Yeah.
But every millennial, every Gen Z is going to have debt. And he has a really good job. Like, look at the cars that he's driving. He drove a red like Mustang or Jaguar to the freaking wedding. He drove a Jeep when he surprised Stacy at a yoga studio, which apparently she's operations manager. That's secret what it is. I don't know what happened there. But I'm sorry, this man has a really good job. He wants to travel. He freaking loves you. And the
Yeah.
debt is the red I don't get it.
I think, yeah, Stacy didn't have a strong connection with Izzy as Izzy did. I felt like it was stronger on Izzy's side compared to Stacy's side because she's not able to let go of those outside factors. And I don't blame her. Like, that's everyone. Like, everyone wants those outside factors, like the looks, the finances, you want that. But like, that's not what Love is Blind, the experiment, it is about. Like, that's not what it's about. Like, don't go on this experiment if you're looking for certain things. Like, if you have expectations, like, you're not supposed to have any expectations on appearance, finances, any of those factors. And if you do, this is not the experiment for you. And it's okay. Like, we're not saying like it's a bad thing. That's fine. But don't go on this show if at the end of the show you're still gonna have that in your mind. Like, you can't. She's so like closed minded, and that
Yeah,
makes me so mad because
right.
you cannot be closed minded in this experiment. You have to be open,
Hmm.
and you have to be okay with them not meeting certain expectations you had before. But I feel like she had like those expectations like set in her mind, and if the guy didn't meet them, she wouldn't get married to him.
Yeah, and I think also she has certain expectations, like I said, like you said, expectations of what her partner should do for her in terms of
Yeah,
taking her out every single week to these lavish places. And Izzy's like, I'm gonna give you a glimpse of what I could do for you. But I mean, you have a man who is younger than you, can provide and love you unconditionally with whatever you got, and you
yeah,
can do the same because of these outside factors. It's quite sad. And even my sister's like, if you can't love Izzy, I don't think you can love anybody. And that's what
yeah.
Izzy feel like. You were dating people older than me and who had tons of money, and you guys didn't end up together, so it's a you problem. I'm sorry. I think that's really weird, unless the person has like a crazy, like Izzy has a job. Like, this is what I don't understand. He's not a guy who's like on the couch doing nothing, unemployed. He has an amazing job, a good apartment. He can travel. He can
Yeah.
take care of himself because he has debt. Like, to me, I don't. Maybe that's a white person thing. Like, I don't.
There's
I,
definitely like deeper reasons to it. It's like almost like the makeup thing. Like, it's not because she wears makeup. It's
yeah.
not because he has debt. It's deeper issues that she has to work on by herself, on herself.
Yes.
Like, she's trying to find stuff in somebody else when she doesn't really have those qualities in herself. So I feel like it's more of like self work that she needs to really get into because
Yeah.
yeah, it's not really Izzy's. Like, I don't really see the
I
problem
agree.
with Izzy, honestly.
I completely agree. So now Izzy left the altar, Stacy
Mhm.
left the altar, Izzy started crying. Stacy then met Izzy, and Stacy's like, I still love you. I
Yeah.
still want us to work on it. Izzy's like, no, like, I don't think I'm ever going to be good enough for you. And Izzy did the best thing he could ever do for himself, in my opinion, in that moment, because you just, guys have egos. Like, even though Izzy kissed you at the altar, he felt hurt for you to tell him that you love him and all these things and still not marry him. His ego is bruised. Like, he feels hurt. Like, I get where Izzy's from, Izzy's feeling. And I do not think Stacy, I don't think they're good for each other.
Yeah. I was kind of confused why they kissed because like it doesn't make sense.
Doesn't
Like,
make any,
it's not.
like, it's basically saying Stacy wants to eat her cake, like have her cake and eat it too. Like, that's basically one is, I
Exactly.
love you, but I don't want to marry you. So it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's weird. I'm like, you guys both should have just walked away.
So
And
Like, Izzy basically wanted Stacy to date her.
yeah, I think Izzy definitely wanted to continue it, but it was right for him not to continue it because I do agree that he didn't feel like you get those feelings that you're not good enough, and that's just like such like a horrible hole to get yourself into because it's so hard
Yeah.
to like climb out of. So I think
Yeah.
he did himself a favor.
Yeah, I think they did. And I'm really happy, but it looks like they did meet up a year later and they did, think that they could rekindle, but I'm happy that they went on their separate ways because I don't think again what a man that Stacy's looking for, like Stacy father said, like he needs to have deep pockets, apparently no debt and a $20,000 to pay for her AC system. So
Yeah.
that's a lot. Like
I yeah.
moving on. Anything else you want to say in regards to the season finale, PK?
The reunion?
Yeah, so let's talk about the reunion. We have no other thoughts that for the last episode. So the reunion is interesting. So let's first start off with ooh.
Oh, we didn't talk about Aaliyah and Uche's date. Right? Was it a date?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have much thoughts. Like I didn't think I pretty much expected what was gonna happen. How about you?
Yeah, I didn't. I actually expected Uche to continue it, the relationship, because I
Hmm.
know Aaliyah was like in it and she was like willing to continue it, but then Uche was like, no, I don't want to continue it. But I felt like he did build a connection with Aaliyah and they did like miss a chance in exploring it. So I was kind of like confused on why he ended it. But I think it makes sense because Aaliyah did like leave him hanging. So that's like also like a hit to his ego kind of thing. But I think he should have just like looked past his ego and actually explored the relationship with Aaliyah because I think it could have been great.
That's my one. So let's start with there. The Uche and Aaliyah drama.
Hmm.
Um, I think Uche came in hot. Like I'm not mad. I think Uche's a good person at the end of the day.
Hmm.
And I do think that he has good intentions, but the way he probably went about it was definitely wrong.
Yeah.
I don't see anything bad. I don't think there's nothing wrong with your ex looking at your followers' stories. Like everybody does it, and the fact that he's pointing it out is like it's not really a big deal. Um, it's still really unclear for me if Uche and Lydia came on this knowing that they knew that they were both going to be on here, and their
Yeah.
reunion do a really good job of clearing that up. In my
Hmm.
opinion, it does look like they both knew they were going to be here or they were going to apply at least, but maybe they were surprised that they both showed up. Oh, technical difficulties, y'all.
Oh,
Pika, you still
yeah. Are you still
there?
there?
Oh, yeah, I can see. You're black. I don't know why, but
Oh, really? I
never
can see
mind.
myself.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, I can see you too.
Okay, never mind. I'll continue then. Um, so yeah, so for me, it's so let's start there. Like, do you honestly think, PK, that Uche and Lydia were like, do you think they came on this together or they knew that they both applied, but maybe they didn't know that they were going to be picked?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I feel like they might have known some parts of it. Like they might have been not like super like 100% sure, but I think they did know that they were applying, but they didn't get like they didn't know if like one another was like accepted. So I think they did have some type of idea because why would Lydia say, "Oh, I'm going to meet somebody from my past?" Like that's such a weird comment to make. And it's like obvious that you knew something was going to happen. Or like
And
see like how she predicted it, but like she had some type of idea.
I don't know why the girls didn't speak up at that point and say, yes, you know what, Aaliyah, I did hear that, instead of Aaliyah just, coming out and being brave and just saying it.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, and I think the whole Uche and like the whole Aaliyah and Lydia situation, like if it was me, I would be really, really pissed at Aaliyah. I would be really, really pissed with Lydia. Because I wouldn't want Lydia telling me all those things about Uche or the man I'm going to marry, or even if I'm being really, really close friends with this girl in the pod, I would still expect you to tell me if you know something, but not too much where you're going, well, that information might taint my experience of him.
Mhm.
So Aaliyah, at that point, when she figured out that that Uche knew Lydia, or Uche slept with Lydia 3 months ago, which to me is too soon. And you can tell in the pause that Lydia was quite hurt still, was still grieving not being with Uche. It's just like it's just really fucked up. And Aaliyah feels hurt as, like, because that was her friend, and like she just feels hurt, like, all around. So I just feel bad for Aaliyah.
Yeah, I felt bad that Aaliyah couldn't experience the experiment fully to the full extent, but I think Lydia understands what she did wrong, especially in the reunion. Like, I think she acknowledged it and she took responsibility of it because I think it was kind of like at the heat of the moment kind of thing where she just like ended up spilling all these facts just because she was been like bottling it up. I feel like she had so much like to say, and I don't know. I feel like if you were talking to your friend, you would
But
kind of
that's
like
not. But that's your ex. It's like having your boyfriend. Like,
it
that's
was a
your boy.
weird dynamic though. I don't know
That's
why
your
she got
boyfriend's.
so involved in it.
That's your boyfriend's ex coming to you and saying those things. So if I was Aaliyah, I would be like, okay, are you telling me because you really want to know? Like, what are your intentions? Why are you spilling this? And
Yeah.
Aaliyah said, do not tell me this information. Why are you telling me all this? So I will still feel some type of way
Yeah.
toward Lydia, because it's like, that's still my man's ex. It's freaking weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it in both perspectives, especially Aaliyah's. I just feel bad for her. Like, Lydia totally did her wrong in this scenario, but I think Lydia knows that. Like, she knows that she did her wrong and like she made a
Mhm.
mistake. But I feel like also like Lydia needs to have more of like a filter. I don't think she has like a filter. She's like super like blunt and straightforward, and that's how her personality is. So I think part of it is just her personality, honestly. Like that's how she is. And I just feel bad that Aaliyah just got like the short end of the stick, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was really, really sad. I feel really bad for her. Pivoting to Johnny, Chris.
And Izzy.
So yeah, I mean, what do you think about Johnny and Chris's situation? The fact that Chris went to go cheat on Johnny.
I was
With,
surprised when he admitted to that and he was like,
mm,
"Oh, I made this mistake and stuff," but
mm,
I didn't see that kind of Chris in the pods. Like that is not the personality I would expect from Chris. Like I wouldn't expect these actions from this like really like sweet tender guy from the pods, and now he's like cheating and he's like, "Oh, like I didn't really consider telling her before I did it." I'm like, it makes no sense because this is like a totally different Chris that you're seeing at the reunion in a bad way.
yes and no. So for me, Chris is very, you can tell Chris is a very honest guy.
Mhm.
I did not expect Chris to lie about that at all. I expected Chris to do exactly what he did, which is be very forthcoming to Johnny and tell him exactly what happened. Why? I mean, maybe not why. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you the reason, but and to also apologize. So all of that I kind of expected, because Chris seems like a really down to earth, good guy, good intentions, honest man, and so I expected that. My sister and I was texting, and we're like, well, that's kind of karma to Johnny for what Johnny did to Chris in the pause. The fact that Johnny picked Chris as a second option to Izzy, and Chris, he's a very, like, soft guy, like very soft, very honest guy. He doesn't
Yeah.
like a lot of, like, the drama. He just wanted to find a girl. And Johnny, I don't think that Johnny's a good person too. There was a lot of drama with, like, getting, like, being with Johnny. Like, he's her second choice. Like maybe he wasn't sure that she really loved him, or maybe he wasn't sure that he really liked her. Maybe he just thought she's a pretty girl. I'm not shocked, to be quite honest. Um, I'm not really shocked because I honestly thought that, I don't know, there was like a some part of me did think that maybe they wouldn't end up. Maybe because again, Johnny's a bit different than who Chris is. Um, but yeah, I'm not really shocked there. But what do you think about what Johnny, like the relationship between Johnny and Stacy? To me, yeah, what do you think about Johnny and Stacy?
Um, I feel like it's really weird. Like it's definitely weird to be dating the same guy and then being rejected by the guy and stuff. And I feel like Johnny, um, I don't think Stacy was being like deceptive or anything. Like I know Johnny was saying like, "Oh, you're being deceptive. I told you all these things, but you didn't really tell me that you were involved with Izzy." And I don't think like Stacy had to tell her. Like it was none of her business. And I feel like Johnny was just trying to get into Stacy's business a lot, and it was just weird. I just felt like Johnny should have just focused on herself and focused on her own relationships instead of like trying to focus on what Stacy was doing.
I disagree with you. So I think so in the pods, I think what Johnny was saying was Johnny was being very forthcoming with Stacy about her feelings about all the guys that she's dating in the pods. And
Yeah.
she didn't know that Stacy had so much feelings for Izzy. And you're right. I mean, Izzy is not supposed to, Stacy's not supposed to tell Izzy all of her emotions, everything. But at least you could have been like, oh, hey, just letting you know, like, I'm also interested into Izzy. Like, I also have strong feelings for him. You don't say the depth of those feelings. But at least you could have been a little bit forthcoming. It's like me telling you, like, I'm really interested into this guy, and then you're also interested in him as well, but you didn't tell me, and you're seeing him behind my back. So it's
Mm.
really like that's basically what it is, right? Like we're both dating the same guys, and we both don't know that. Like but I'm telling you that, but you didn't tell me that you're also dating him. So it's really weird. If you put it
Yeah.
in that perspective.
But
Now
when
the
she
other,
did find out, I felt like she was really talking like shit behind Stacy's back, and I'm like, what's the point? Like, if she told her earlier, would she also have the same attitude? I don't know what's up with her attitude in terms of like really talking bad about Stacy because
Mhm.
you're in this experiment and you're dating the same people. Like, it's a part of the experiment, and just knowing this and then, I don't know, I feel like knowing it didn't really help the situation. It just made Johnny be more petty and make these like little comments to Stacy. So I felt like it wasn't really helpful for her to know, I guess. I don't know. Like would it have made a difference if she told her earlier? I don't know.
yeah, I don't know if it would have made a difference, but at least how I see it is again, it's like again, like how I look at it. It's let's say like me and you were dating the same guy and you won the guy and I didn't. Of course, I may say something petty. Like that's
Yeah.
what girls do. Girls say
Yeah.
something petty. Girls are gonna be like, "Oh, I wish I had the guy." Like, da, da, da. Like I'm not really surprised about what Johnny said. Is it wrong? Obviously, but that's kind of like what girls do. You know what I mean? Like girls say that. And I do gotta say, like, I think what Johnny said in regards to Izzy's finances was wrong. I think she said in the later episodes that, oh, I heard Izzy has a really bad credit and, you know, um, and he just bought a house. Like, I don't think they're gonna be a stable couple. Like, you're crossing the line. That's really rude. That's really disgusting. But other than that, for her to say like, "Oh my God, they're not going to end up together," she's mean. She's just hurt. Like I get that, but like for her to say what said about Izzy was wrong.
Mhm.
Um, but I do think that yeah, Johnny is.
I just
I think
don't
Johnny.
think like Johnny had the best intentions. Like I felt like it would have ruined Stacy's experience. So I think it makes sense for her to keep her distance from Johnny. Like I personally would keep my distance from her too. Like if I was dating the same person, I would try to explore that on my own and try not to have her thoughts and her opinions into it because I feel like that would just make it so much more harder. But that's personally just me. I probably would do the same thing as Stacy. Maybe I would mention it, but like knowing her personality and knowing the kind of person that she is, I feel like she's not the right person to talk to about it. So I would have those people that I would confide in, but it wouldn't be all of the girls. Like I wouldn't like tell all the girls what I'm doing or what my thoughts and opinions are. I would just be telling the girls that I'm closest to. And Stacy was not close with Johnny. So I'm like, I get that. Like you were not close with all of the girls and you don't have to be. Like you don't have to be best friends with all of the girls, right? So I feel like Johnny was a little bit like pushing it. I feel like no, like Stacy didn't have to tell you honestly. Like she didn't even have to like talk to you. I'm
That's
not
true.
trying to be rude, but like I feel like I see it from Stacy's perspective, and I don't think like I think like Stacy was kind of I don't know if like they're both like in the right. Like I get both of their perspective, but I think honestly, personally, I would be on Stacy's side on this.
No, I'm same. Like if I went into this experience, and I know my mom would probably sign me up for whatever when that ends up happening in Canada. Um, I would probably not speak to anybody in the pod as well. Like I would be friendly, but I would not try to be like best friends like the way Aaliyah and Lydia did. Like that's a bit messy. Like we don't even
Yeah,
know you could be
exactly.
lying to me and be dating the same guy. It's freaking weird.
Because it would
Um,
have clearly ruined Aaliyah's experience. Like
yeah.
it was bad.
It was really bad, yeah. So I think at the end of the day, Johnny is a good girl, but I do think at times he says the wrong thing in the wrong moment, and she does say bad things in the wrong moment. And honestly, she did not own up to what she separately said to Izzy, and she was
Yeah.
separately said to Chris in the pods. She did not own up to that, girlie. You did say two different things. Izzy's right, but I do think she's still a good person, but she just I don't know, like she
Yeah,
just
I don't know. I feel like she is a good person at heart, but I don't know. Like, I don't really, I'm not, honestly, I'm not a fan of her personality. And I think
mm,
hopefully that she rewatches it and she learns from it because there's parts where like she's like crying or she's being like petty. And I get it. Like, it's natural and like human to do that, but it's also like there's a line and I feel like you sometimes like cross that line too much.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I think I'm sure she's gonna rewatch this and she's gonna be learning a lot of things
Yeah.
here. Um, and then our
That's not only
last
her, that's
couple,
like everyone, right? Like that's everyone in the show.
everybody's learning and growing from this. Hopefully, if not, then
Yeah.
that's on. Our last couple, ooh, and one of our spiciest. What's his name? The All American. They're calling him Captain America.
Oh,
Captain America, where? Captain America? What the frick? Captain America can talk. You know that? Captain America can talk.
I was
Can say
surprised that he
a
said more than two words at the reunion. I was like, wow.
Captain America can say jokes, can be witty, can have comebacks. Do you know that? Okay. What's the other girl's name that was it
Taylor? Was it Taylor?
Taylor? Yes, y'all. So we have Chris, All American, and then we have Taylor,
No,
which she
JP.
JP. Oh, JP and Taylor. Taylor looked bombshell. Like I don't even know what guy wouldn't be with her. Like, but again, so let's start from the beginning. Like,
Apparently, he explains it a little bit better. Or
did he know?
he gives more information.
What information?
Apparently, he was nervous because of the cameras. There's
That's
a lot more cameras during the vacation compared to the pods.
that's bullshit. That's bullshit. You're in love with a woman that you created a connection behind a closed door without even knowing who she is. After knowing what she looked like and everything, you you've changed. Either because here are my theories. Either he's not physically attracted to her,
Yeah.
which I don't know how. Like maybe he's blind again. Maybe he's seeing something that I don't see. I don't know. She's gorgeous. Like She's confident, she's beautiful, she has a good job, she's self-aware, she's witty, she tells jokes, she's fun in the pods. Like I don't so and she's ready for love. Like she fully went into this experience not knowing who the man that she would marry, and she accepted that.
Yeah.
So I think again, he's not attracted to her. Number two, I think he finds her annoying.
Mm.
Like he like the way like she talks a lot, which honestly sounds like any woman. If you're not speaking, you probably found that annoying. And I think that's really it. Oh, and number three, he even said it in the reunion, which we'll talk about, like the whole reunion experience. Um, that when he first met her, it
Mm.
seemed fake. And again, they did not ask, what in the world did you mean by that? What do you mean? Like, is fake meaning what? Like she's wearing too much makeup? Is she wearing eyelashes? Or she's pretending to be something that she's not? Personality? What do you mean? You mean?
I just feel like we got another Stacy situation with JP because JP was also close minded. Like he had expectations for appearance or for personality, or I don't even know, man. Like I feel like it's just appearance mostly because he was really like phased by like how she looked or whatever, or like how fake she looked apparently. So it's just that Taylor was more open minded. Like she had obviously physical appearance expectations as well, but like she has like accepted that it's okay that they don't meet these expectations. Like that's fine. But to JP, like it was clearly not fine, and that's like the whole point of the experiment. So I feel like I don't know why you would join the experiment if you're gonna be like this.
I
And I feel
don't.
so bad for Taylor because, like, you
Yeah.
didn't do anything wrong. Like, you did everything right. And you were just in an unfortunate situation.
Yeah. Like that was probably very traumatizing for her
Yeah.
to create a deep connection with somebody so quickly, which I'm honestly not surprised that it ended so fast because they started something so quick.
Hmm.
Um, but you create a connection, deep connection. I don't know how deep, but connection. And then as soon as the person saw your physical well-being, rejected you. Like that must hurt. That must be traumatizing. That's like therapy. That's like we need therapy to create like make me whole again. And you can tell like Taylor was disgusted by him at the same time, like she felt hurt. And she probably grew a lot over the past year to try to get over that. And like I
It's
just
unfortunate
feel
because, like, you know that Taylor has done work on herself and you know that she has, like, the self love. But I feel like this experience kind of like, it ruins it a little bit. Like, I know that she's worked hard, but I just feel like she wasn't in the right situation in this experiment with JP. Only if she stopped and not like rushed into stuff and like explored other options, I feel like that would have been better.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure if they took the time to get to know one another and deeply, but like he said that if
Mm.
he was at a bar, his friends would hit on the girl for him, and then it's like, okay, so maybe you do have a communication issue. I don't know. Like, are you intimidated by beautiful women? What is it? I don't know. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, it's kind of a red flag, anyways.
It's massive, massive. I'm sure if Taylor heard that before she got engaged, she'd be like, "Yeah, nah, I'm good. I'm good.
She's like,
I'm good."
thank God at the reunion. Because, yeah, that's ridiculous. That's
That's
ridiculous.
ridiculous. You have had your friend hit on me for you to come and talk to me. Like, I get it. Like, if you want to gauge to know if I like you, if I look your way, but I still need you to come and talk to me. Like, you're
Yeah.
gonna have to. Like, I don't talk to your friend here. Like, what am I gonna do? Flirt through your friend to you? Like, how's that gonna work?
I just
Um,
feel like he's calling other people fake when he's fake himself. And I'm
yeah,
like look
you're,
in the mirror. I feel like
yeah,
you need what work, like a lot
yeah.
of work.
He needs therapy. He needs a lot of work. Now the reunion has come and gone. Let's talk about like the elephant in the room, which is Vanessa and Nick Lachey is still hosting the damn thing.
Yeah. I thought they wouldn't host the reunion. I was like, oh, maybe like somebody else will host a reunion, but
Oh, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, okay, I can't wait because I'm gonna be like, oh, who's gonna be hosting this? And I'm like, oh shit, they're still
you
here.
don't get any answers. Like you don't get any good answers or any good questions. You know the juicy questions.
We literally get nothing.
Yeah,
Like,
you get nothing.
like
And it's also 2 hours long, and I'm like, but I didn't learn much.
no, it was an hour and 15.
Oh, was it? It started
Yeah,
at 2. Oh, okay, okay. Maybe my
yeah,
memory.
but no, it's true. Like it wasn't a great reunion.
It wasn't.
Um, I really do think they could have prided more. They asked it a lot of questions about how they are now. Like, no one cares if you are in a relationship now. Like, I do not care. You can be
Yeah,
single or married. Like, I don't care. I really don't.
yeah,
Like, I just want to, we want answers from the season. Like, I need to know, like, and to keep asking, okay, so what are your immediate future plans? And are you
yeah.
married? Are you dating? Like, what happened? Like, this
They ask
is,
a lot of like pressing questions, and they don't really ask stuff that happened in the season and try to expand on those like parts that that actually happened in the seasons, in the pods, in the vacation trip. Whereas they're just asking what happened after, and I get that we want to know that, but we don't want the whole episode to focus on that,
no, but that's what half the episode was.
which makes no sense because it kind of leaves us hanging. It's
It,
like,
like,
where do we find these answers now? Where?
and Vanessa could have talked to Lachey virtually if you didn't want to come. Like Vanessa could
Mhm.
have, or Nick could have asked questions like they did with Jackie, the girl from
Oh,
last
right.
season.
Yeah.
That's what they could have done. But bro, like, and that's what really agitated me. Like they're asking us, "Oh, are you married? Are you single? Where did you meet this new guy?" We
Right.
don't care. We don't care.
It's not like we haven't seen, like it's not that part of life we were a part of, like we were a part
Thank
of their
you.
past. We were not a part of their future. And we do not care.
We don't
Like
care.
if you make a show about their future, sure.
Great, great.
But
Like that's all you have to say. Oh yeah, I'm with somebody now, but it's not him. Okay, move on. Oh, okay. So how did you meet him? Do you love him? Are you gonna have kids? I'm like, I'm sorry. Are we not on Love Is Blind reunion, or what happens after Love Is Blind? Like, what the what?
yeah, I feel like it was a little bit of a waste.
So much of a waste. So much, and I think it was like they did a better job this season,
Mm-hmm.
but they still did a bad job.
Yeah.
But then again, there's not much to really pry on. I think a lot. I think we got a lot of the answers anyways. Like I don't know. I don't know how much more they would have changed. Like my sister was saying it was a boring season compared to the last. I think
Mm-hmm.
it was still juicy, but not as juicy as the last one. Obviously, last one was like really
I
exciting,
feel
but
like
this
there
one's
was
still
also less couples in this one. So there wasn't that many like, things that happened.
that's also true, but like they Vanessa and Nick could have done more prying. Like, okay,
For sure.
um, Johnny, Stacy, is it true that Lydia was telling you that she met Uche and they didn't have
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
and they just
Because
moved on.
Aaliyah was just saying her side of her story, but nobody else said anything about it. So,
It was like her talking. It's like nobody was listening to her. Nobody was like combating her. I'm like, bro, what's happening?
and they didn't really ask that many like follow up questions. And I'm like, I don't. I didn't get any answers.
I don't get it. Like, I feel like we need to tag Netflix in our podcast and listen to what we are saying.
Yeah.
Netflix, when it comes to your reunion, we need to know details, follow-ups about the juiciness, the drama that happened in the season. We do not care about where the couples are now, who they're with, if they're pregnant. We don't care. We care, but we don't care. Like, maybe Nick and Vanessa owns the show. Like, that is the logical thing that I'm getting from this. I don't get
Yeah.
it.
I don't get it because I thought it would be 100 times better than the last reunion.
It is better.
It is, but it's not there yet. It needs
I I
some more improvement.
I honestly thought they would bring somebody else.
Yeah, me too.
Like, they can host the entire season, but bring somebody else for the reunion.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. I thought they
Anyway,
would, but we'll see next season.
well, hopefully it gets juicier and juicier because this is like our little, thing now, and I'm happy about it. But hopefully it gets better over
Yeah,
time. But
for sure.
is there anything you want to say to recap or to end everything off? Anything you want to say about the entire season?
Um, I do think that last season was more interesting and there was so much more drama, but this season also had its perks, like in terms of like the Uche, Lydia drama, Aaliyah drama. Um, so I think that was interesting, but yeah, the reunion could have been better. I was expecting for better for the reunion, but yeah, we'll see for next season.
Yeah. This season was better than the last in my opinion.
Mm,
Um there was like there's so much drama. Like each couple has its own unique drama.
yeah,
And it's all pent up, for the reunion. Like you see a fire is about to start and then there's no fire. Just a little bit of sparks. It just fizzles into thin air. I'm unsatisfied.
yeah. It wasn't like the greatest finale. Like when you think of a finale, it's not a finale.
Or reunion.
Yeah, or a reunion.
Yeah.
But I do think that there is a new show coming up, the Love
Hmm.
Is Blind UK version.
Ooh, okay. Ooh,
Did you see it?
okay.
Did you see it?
What is this? Get a
It's a
start.
trailer. They put out the trailer, and I'm like, oh my god, this looks interesting.
Do you know when it's going to begin?
Let me just search it up.
Oh my God. And you know the UK is like the UK knows how to date. Like they know,
Exactly,
but I
exactly.
don't like. No, but the thing is, I feel like the UK. I feel like the UK. I was gonna say the UK is more into their appearances than we are. The US loves shenanigans, but I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I think. I don't know if people. I don't know. I'm interested to see what the UK producers pick as people for as contestants or actors for the show. Um, so I'm interested.
I'm
I'm
trying to see
interested.
like, oh, it doesn't say on Netflix. Maybe I just search it up. Love is
Yeah.
Blind UK
And
release.
while you're doing that, I'm gonna wrap up the pod. Hello, y'all. MJ here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do subscribe, rate on wherever you're listening today. We are trying to hit 50 subscribers on YouTube. If you didn't know, now you know. And by the end of this year, we love y'all. If you hit that subscribe button, then you'll be the person where we will host our Love is Blind watch party. You know what I mean? Like, so you just want to hit that subscribe button so we can be friends. You can be part of the We Binged It pod, like the family. Have you found the release date?
So it says it's coming out next year, but it doesn't give us like a month.
Oh, guys, what are we gonna do?
That's a long time.
That's
I'm
Plugged.
hoping they like accelerate it and
I know.
miraculously drop it this year.
I know. By then, there could have been another Love is Blind US because the fourth season dropped earlier this year, didn't it? Oh, yeah. It was 2 seasons in 1 year.
You're right.
Wow. How do they do that?
You're right.
I'm sure my mom will send me the application soon. Y'all, thank you so much. You guys have a lovely week, and I'll see you guys next week.
Bye.